Here we are in a palatial palace. The what can we call this?
Oh, the Coxy RV.
The Coxy RV. The man himself, Carl Cox. Absolute pleasure to meet you.
You too, Nigel.
We go back. We didn't really cross paths, but you was living in Brighton. I was living in South London. You lived in South London,
I did, yeah.
and so you was on some of the stations. Now, when you went on Kiss, was you on Kiss Legal or the private side?
I was actually on Kiss Legal.
Legal,
actually, yeah. But when I only just went legal, so I used to do a show which went out in Friday mornings. Actually, the show used to go out, and I used to go and record those shows.
Yes,
and from DATs, and then they would put the shows back out again in the Saturday night in the evenings.
Yeah.
So that's how I did that. But I did LWR back in the day.
London Weekend Radio.
London Weekend Radio was just great, and just submitted mixes to BBC Radio 1, the essential mixes as well, and that sort of stuff. So I did quite a lot of broadcasts on pirate radio and obviously national radios. But I've always found it that it's really important, for people to discover, the music if you can on radio broadcasts. Because I used to do a thing called Global Radio back in the day through a company called Radio Department. Right. And for 16 years, I went out to I think it was something like 48 different countries, millions of people worldwide, and I really enjoyed doing that. It was a 2-hour show, and I kind of finished doing that around about 7 years ago.
Yes. Now, what was your genre of music? I mean, I happen to be aware that when you done a little thing here at Centre Book, T-Rex. Yeah, ABC.
Yeah,
with the Jacksons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So but what was your genre on Kiss and LWR and all? What was your favourite?
Well, at that particular time, we were going through kind of like a transitional.
That was
stage.
The rave stuff, yeah.
Yeah, where there was a lot of like hip hop crossing over with funk, and soul music, and swing beat and R&B, and that was kind of like I would say like a culture of sound at that time, which you kind of morphed together. And then on the other side of that, you had like the sound of Balearic from the sound of
that was that sort of the back end of Ibiza, if you like. Oakenfold and all that was all involved in that sort of beat.
Exactly, yeah. So that was kind of like 87, 88 into 89. Yeah. So where I came in, I kind of was in that transitional period between those two elements of funk, soul, jazz music, and then into the sound of Balearic, sound of acid house, garage music. Yeah. So back in the day, I was always in 1976, 77 into disco music. Yes. So I always was enjoying that kind of 4/4 beat of music, especially the disco sound. And if you ever got the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, there was some great records on that soundtrack. Which
Cole staying alive.
Depicted the sound of disco music, and I loved it. I was right there.
It was good, wasn't it? So, and if you think about the Four Tops and all that with the Grease sound and everything, that was all building up to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So all that happened was that the music in the end of the day got modernized, into house techno music and tech house, what you're listening to today. It all got like amalgamized from back in the day. In the end of the day, and me being an old soul boy, and I like to hear like disco edits and cut ups and that sort of stuff in today's music, of which again for the now generation, it's a discovery for them. Yes. So it's kind of nice where the music is at the moment, but it all still derives from the old school.
Absolutely, and that was the stuff, wasn't it? I did many interviews with the likes of Shalimar back in the 80s and things like that, and I met them since. Yes. And I'm going to do it again this year. Now, people like that lifted the ball game, didn't they? Yeah. Then you had the likes of Phil Fearon and all there, and they all came along, changed the ball game again. Light of the world,
absolutely. Incognito,
indeed, always there. But all that sort of stuff. That changed the ball game totally.
It did, I mean, I was going out to a lot of the clubs at that time making that music. They were making those. That's jazz funk. Yes. At the end of the day, and when you got a track called Dancing in Outer Space by Atmosphere. Or Galaxy War is coming. You know, all these tracks were just amazing. You know, the way how they were produced, how they reached out to people on the dance floor was just, you know, that was my era.
Even the Nutty Sanachingo, I mean, that used to wear me out, that record.
Well, it went off about 9 minutes. Like,
but you could have gone really bad with 15 minutes of Rapper's Delight.
Well, it was that too.
Unless you cut it, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, so on the production side, did you get involved too much in production?
Yeah, I've actually done like 5 self-proclaimed albums.
Yeah.
I've done a whole multitude of remixes, quite a lot of collaborations over the years. I'm still making music today. My latest album came out 3 years ago where I just did everything live on that album. And for me, it's called Electronic Generations.
Yes.
So I see it as important to make music, but it's not as important as it is for me to make music because of my career. Yeah. I just love making music because I love it. So, and then hopefully put it together, and then if anyone enjoys the journey of the music I've made, then great.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. So now, what was that last album? What was the sort of format, sound? What was that sort of sound that you put out?
So I kind of the album literally came out of pandemic, you know, where it was all, you know, lockdown, and I got into my studio, I had all these machines laying around doing nothing, and I just felt, you know what, if I put them all together and just kind of jam tracks and just see what happens. So that's what happened. The album came out because I just jammed the tracks, and all I did really was to top and tail the ideas and then turn them into tracks. So it was a really good process of making music in that way, rather than me sitting in front of a computer going, okay, kick drum goes there, hi-hat goes there, big percussion goes there. I was just jamming, you know, as the 303s and machines, and I was just, you know, the idea really was to have fun with the music, with no connotations, and that album was kind of born out of that. But I also did for 2 years live shows because of that album and that sound. So, you know, for people to understand the album in the way it was conceived or made was made in that context. So if you remember all the tracks back in the day, all the acid house tracks, they're all made of the same principle, because none of them really at that time had computers.
No,
it literally came out of the machines, which had a thing called MIDI to CV gate, and they were basically daisy chained all the machines. So you'll start, you know, the sequencer on what you wanted, and then you kind of just jammed and moved around the parameters
and looped it in places, and
that was it. And you basically, you know, you laid that down, then you just basically cut it. Anyway, you know, Strings of Life by Derek May was made in that way. And that was still one of the most synonymous records we've ever heard in our lives.
Definitely. No, I like that. That's cool. But you see, that's where you built your career and everything else. So let's quickly talk about your visit to see the King.
Yes.
King Charles, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
did he talk to the trees? I've got to ask.
Yeah, you would think so, you know, but he's a very astute person, you know. I mean, you can imagine the weight of the world is on his shoulders in some way, and to make sense of, you know, of where he's at and how people are towards him and the family, and you know, nobody's perfect at the end of the day, and you can imagine what he's gone through, obviously with Diana passing. But at the end of the day, you know, he's become the king.
Yes.
And with that, before that, for me, my association with that was that I had an opportunity back in 1984-85 to have the opportunity to start my small business with the help of the Prince's Trust, which was amazing. So I was able to... What was
that business?
Yeah, so that business was basically mobile discos.
Right.
I was DJing, you know, so I basically, with the money that they gave me in the end, based on what I had as a business amount of music that I put towards my my business, they matched it. So I put £1,000 into my disco equipment, and then they said, okay, well, there's £1,000 to help you towards whatever you do with it. So I put it into getting a Ford Escort van, and the rest of it went into the Yellow Pages. So my name, my card.
So you weren't buying ones and twos.
They didn't give me that much money. I had to make the most of what I had. But my literary career was helped by the Prince's Trust. And you know, my story will always be known of my humble beginnings in that way, based on what he believed that they could do to help small businesses.
And obviously you still support the Prince's Trust.
100%. You know, this is their 50-year anniversary now. So they wanted to make the mark of that, and then invite me to come over as someone that basically came through the ranks of of the Prince's Trust, which is now the King's Trust,
yeah.
and I'm still here after all these years,
yeah,
flying the flag of that. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully
that's fantastic. Let's hope you go for 80 years and so on.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a damn good old go. Put it that way.
So let's talk about CARL COX Motorsport.
Yeah,
this is a big enterprise you've got.
Yeah.
So you know, you've got in the UK and I think you go to
New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah. With your Pro Mod. And what else is in your if you like, your garage? What else have you got?
Oh wow! So in the garage of COX Motorsport. So last weekend we was at the Northwest 200 for the motorcycles, racing there. Michael Dunlop and Peter Hickman and these guys are all racing. So
big names there.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like a prelude to what's to come in the Isle of Man TT eventually.
Yeah.
And so I sponsored Josh Brooks this year. Which was amazing to see him come out in COX Motorsport attire and his quest, and with that, it's kind of nice for people to see that I'm actually supporting the Northwest 200 a little bit more this year.
Yeah.
But when I'm going into the Isle of Man TT, a lot of those guys are going over to the Isle of Man TT and sidecars as well.
Right. Okay.
So I've got Tim Reeves racing number 77, one sidecar, and I've got another guy called John Holden, who's been around quite a few years, but he's going on with the COX Motorsport sidecar as well. So I've got Patrick racing as well. They've got two guys racing for them under COX Motorsport. Yeah, there's quite a bit going on when I get to the Isle of Man TT.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah. But I've also just taken on this young couple who are racing a Porsche GT4 RS and hill climb racing this year as well. So I just got behind these guys as well.
And of course, you are a massive supporter of the junior dragsters,
junior dragsters and junior drag bikes,
and they are just so grateful.
Yeah, no, they're lovely. You know, it's like, you know what, I mean, the top engine on the racing is great, and I can put money towards them, but it has to start from somewhere.
Yeah,
you know, the grassroots of everything. Yeah, you know, and just see it grow into some, hopefully with my support, into something that they can feel really happy about.
Because back in the day when I first started being involved at Centreport, I was at Nitro AM, as it was in them days, in Nitro FM.
Yeah.
Then we came back 22 years ago, and then 12, 14 years ago, I finished with Nitro FM.
Yeah.
And then came back doing the podcasting and everything else. I remember.
All right. We might have to wrap it up in a minute.
Okay. Yeah. So these people that came through the junior drags are here now racing.
Oh wow!
yeah. So I always had a great deal of respect for them coming through now. You've got the Scott Hausers and all that. Them racers now. They're all doing it.
Yeah, which is brilliant, and I think it's really important as well.
Yeah.
To get behind it. And I've seen when they do go out and race, they really enjoy it. And the crowd really
that's absolutely cool. So you're going in a minute, yeah?
Yes, we're trying to get this one running before.
Is there any chance I could have a number or anything, get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind.
Yep, you can do that.
And then obviously I can send some stuff on, and we can have a chat, because I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Carl, you're an absolute man. You're going back out on the drag street now. What can we look for now?
Well, we've run a 6.1, so I don't want to see sixes in this car. It's 590, 580, or 570. One of those three numbers.
590, that'll do you?
It will do me, absolutely.
It's a good air out there today.
It's not bad at all. I mean, that last one was off the trailer, so that was my first. With the monkey off my back, to put it that way.
Absolutely. CARL COX, you're a legend. Thank you very much. I'll take a number for you, and we'll get in touch. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you. Bye-bye, mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.